Welcome to a live stream. Nice to see you, nice. Okay, we got some computer that is having a spaz here. Let's try and calm it down. Oh, pardon me. We have a body that is letting out some air from Easter, all the Easter food. Okay, why are we spazzing out, computer? So anyway, how are you all this evening? I know there's not many people on here yet, but how are you? I have had a very nice Easter. I don't know how many of the percentage of people that listen celebrate Easter. Yes, and now I've done a lot of talking, so hopefully this won't affect too much the talk tonight. It's pretty hardcore, like I've socialized all day, like talking all day and then doing a 2-hour talk. So let's see if I can do it or if I will lose momentum. We shall see. I have my Easter colours on today. The blues and the yellows. I don't know why that's Easter colours, maybe the yellow. Okay, so everything is technically working and now we can begin. Oh man, more beetroot. We had beetroot for our Easter meal today and like I'm just managing to continuously spill it down my beautiful yellow dress. Hopefully I can get it out with stain remover. That's funny. Yeah, I should never ever be handed beetroot. So what are we up to? We do the meditation first. That is what we do. So if this is your first time to the stream, I'll just tell you a little bit about what we do. I like to do silent sitting for the first part of the talk. And I don't normally start the talk till about 6:30. So I start at 6 and I start about 6:30. And I normally start the questions about 7 o'clock. You can ask a question on Skype, which is Lisa Cairns 12. So if you send me a friend request now, then you will get it back. I will accept you and accept your friend request, and then you can write and ask questions or call in. I'm sorry, I'm getting very blissed out. This is distracting me from talking. Bugger off, bliss. Yeah, so we start off with the meditation. The point of the meditation is just to meditate. It's not like we all, or the people, or the mind likes to imagine is that we are going to meditate and it's going to send out light shining through all our orifices, and we will no longer be suffering, and it's going to lead us to enlightenment and freedom and better things in the future and more calmness. And really that's for the mind, which is okay, but that's for the mind. And really we're meditating because we're meditating, and we do it and we see what happens. We don't know the fruits of what we sow. Like what happens. So we do it just because we do it. And all these grandiose stories are normally about covering up some emotions that you don't want to feel. So they're about avoidance. So all these grandiose stories that we're going to get enlightened from doing it, we're going to arrive from doing it, This is normally about covering up discomfort. The reason that we meditate is because I feel like it and I suggest it, and then you feel like doing it too. I don't actually do it because I think I'm better off from doing it. I do it because I feel like it and it feels nice. But I do think that for certain body-mind mechanisms, like just sitting and doing nothing or meditating for a period is like really healthy for the body. But I also recognize that that's not the case for all. For some people, it just leads the mind to lots of agitation, and there's better methods to work for them, like more like exercise or physical yoga or something is better for them. So I do it because it feels right to do it before a talk. It gives me time to let the subject come up, and for you, I don't do it because I think it's better for you. I really don't do it because I think it's better for you. However, I can see logically when I think in time that the more than likely for most people, it's a beneficial thing to do. Because normally the body is always in do. Okay, so I do have a gong, just so this seems a little bit more professional, and we don't seem like random people on the internet. Oh no, I lost my gong last week, didn't I? Yeah, I updated iTunes and it decided to lose my gong. And I need to re-find it. Gong. Gong, gong, gong. The gong has gone. I'm just going to try and search. Oh, it's not in iTunes. Oh. It's on. Oh, there it is. Yes, it's in my. Okay. Sorry. We start again. Okay, let's get chin wagging. Let's get jawing. I heard that expression the other day, jawing. Let's get jawing. Just can't remember what the title is. How to live life without regret. What sort of question did I pick there? How to live life without regret. What do you think, Lizzie? Lizzie's just having a snooze beside me. What would your response be about that? I kind of like this, the jungle in the background. So, how to live life without regret. The life without regret can only be lived when there is this deep knowing of who you truly are. It's not something that can be conditioned into you in the human world. You can recondition the body if it's got a tendency towards regret or looking towards the past, like worrying about the past or thinking about what the past was, or just regretting. Lamenting, I think that's a nice word for it. Actually, is that a word, lamenting? I might have just made that word up, but I think it's a word. Over what has been, what should have been, what you should have done. Because life is this like amazing dance. We're always on the precipice of now. We never know the past, we never know the future, we never know what we choose, how that will affect us or not affect us. Like we go down one route and it might take us to total chaos. We go down another route and it might take us to medium chaos. And we go down a third route and it might take us to very little chaos. We don't know what's going to lead to what. What we know is this moment right now. And then in this moment, we're expected to choose on our best current knowledge as to what will pan out in the future. And it's never going to work because sometimes your choices will be wonderful and sometimes they won't be so good. And you can recondition your body-mind mechanism to understand itself better, understand what it's picking, but it's kind of like it's got this unconscious which is in motion and it's going to propel you in angles that you can't even tell. And sometimes it's going to be good, but inevitably you're going to meet your maker. You're inevitably going to one day do something which will lead to death. It's not even you, like it might be that, your body gets cancer or something, but one day something will lead to death. So there is going to be the end of the story. And the person's like, the game is to try to not get to the end of the story. So it's like, we've got to keep this going and we've got to keep juggling good things. And this is like so stressful for the person. It's also exciting for the person. The person enjoys this dance, but it's also very stressful. And so the only way really out of that stress, you can do things in daily living. You can live better. You can be more conscious of yourself. You can do more calming things. You can like create more stability in your life, like do things which create stability. But it's always going to be uncertain. It's always going to be as it is. And there'll be pleasure and there'll be pain along the way. But there is something else happening, which is a freedom. And that is the only freedom. Everything else comes and goes. It moves. So what is it that freedom is? And this is the main priority of freedom, is recognizing this, if that's what's wanted. And what is this? This is unknowable by the mind. It's unknowable by a person that thinks about itself, thinks about life, tries to work out life, reads books, tries to work out what this is. It's unknowable in that world. But yet it is knowing. It knows. It is. It's so unbelievable. I remember thinking that I existed because I thought, which in a way is true. The illusory I exists through thought. But I thought my sense of being, who I was, my looking, that which is experiencing this life, existed because I thought, which is quite abstract really, because that doesn't make any logical sense, but that's what I thought. So I thought that I and my world existed in thought, and that thought was real. So I thought I was somebody called Lisa. I was a name, I was my past, I was my future, and I thought that the world was the world, and that I was in that world. And I thought these thoughts were true. And I thought I existed because of that. But then there's these awakenings that happen where it realizes, but it's nobody's realization. There is something that happens where it's seen that there is something beyond the me who I thought I was that's experiencing. And that whole thought also becomes like an energy, like an emotion, like a feeling, like a sense. Like I am somebody. Becomes like this sense, I am something. And I thought that was experiencing, but then there was this moment where it was seen that something else was experiencing beyond me. But it was the most intimate sense of being, but it didn't belong to me. It didn't belong to Lisa. It didn't belong to my past, my future, something I did. It was ever present. It was existing. And in that, this appearance of Lisa happened. And this looking, this knowing which is unknowing, it's not knowing in thought, it's an unknowing, but it knows everything, was empty, expansive, free, and it never belonged in form. It never was contained to a form. It was totally empty. Like totally empty. And that's not talking about the body. Like the body is empty in a way. It's something prior to the body. So the body can still feel things and have emotions and have thoughts. So it's not about that disappearing. It's that there is something beyond that, but also encompassing all of that, everywhere and all things. And this is totally free all the time. It never suffers. It never suffered anything. And that's what's actually alive. I thought Lisa was alive, but Lisa is like a mechanism that's running, giving the appearance like a film running in this. Lisa doing this, Lisa doing that, Lisa having experiences, Lisa having reactions, Lisa having thoughts about what to choose or not choose. I thought that that person was alive. But when this recognition happened, I realized that Lisa was never alive. Lisa was a happening, something that was happening in experiencing, but the experiencer was beyond that. And the experiencer never suffered. So you couldn't always say nobody suffered. There was nobody that was suffering. And then it was recognized that was the same in all other bodies, but other bodies, the experiencer and the personality seemed to be intermeshed. So they thought they were alive. They thought they were experiencing. But really, they were never experiencing. They, the person, was an experience. And that which is beyond them, this expansiveness, this freedom, this love, never suffered, never had regret, never regretted anything. It loved everything, even if the person really screwed up and did something really bad and everybody hated that person. The experiencer didn't. The experiencer was free. It was loving. It loved, and it was who I was, the most intimate sense of being, but it didn't belong to someone. So when I say who I was, everyone's like, oh, that belongs to Lisa. So Lisa isn't enlightened. Lisa has dynamics. Lisa, your characters have dynamics. And this is what gets mixed up all the time in this enlightenment story. People think the person's enlightened and then they're worshipping the person. And they're believing that the person is free and that the person knows everything. But the person doesn't. The person is limited, just like everything else in this world is apparently limited. But there's something that's beyond that watching. There's something beyond that experiencing. And that is free. So right now, you are looking at me, believing that it's you looking at me. But who is this I that's looking at me? There is no I looking at me. There is everything looking at me. And in that, there is a character that's appearing. And then the energy gets sucked into that character, and then you think, the character is looking, the character is experiencing. That's not true. The character isn't experiencing, the character is an experience. So everything you've ever done, you've ever thought, you've ever felt, you've ever heard, you've ever seen, you've ever sensed, isn't you, it's an experiencing appearing in you. You are beyond that. You are beyond that. So back to regret, like how do you live a life without regret? You can't find that in the person. The person will have as much regret as it's conditioned to have. So if it had parents that were regretting, it will have that tendency towards regret, to look back onto the past, or if it was taught that way. But regret will significantly diminish when you really realize that the person is a happening. It's not in your control. It's not in somebody's control. And this knowing of that which is beyond you. Like there is this beauty, this emptiness that's beyond you looking. That's the only freedom in this life. Everything else comes and goes. Regret will appear and disappear. Joy will appear and disappear. So what is it that doesn't? There's this vast emptiness, this well, this never-ending well of emptiness and freedom and love. But it's not in time, it's here, here, here. It's not obtainable by the person because the person's being experienced in it. It's in the immediacy of what is. It's that which is experiencing. It's that which is looking. The person is being experienced. The person isn't an experiencer. Everything, your thoughts, your ideas, your wants, your needs, your disappointments, your hurt, your pain, your joy, your love, all of that is being experienced. You can see it. It's being experienced because you're seeing that you're seeing it in the film. You're seeing it in your life. The thoughts, the feelings, all of that is being experienced. So who is experiencing that? Who experiences that? Okay, we can go to questions now. So if anyone has any questions on that, then you can ask me the question through Skype. And my Skype is Lisa Cairns 12. And if you want to call me, then you can put call me underneath.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Marlene.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, what's happening? Oh, okay. I heard it again, the Skype ringtone.
How are you
Yes.
today? How can I help you or not help you?
I really don't know. Oh, I really appreciated your talk. It was right at the heart of what I wanted to share or ask. I'll try to formulate a question because I'm really struggling with expressing it because the language it gets harder and harder for me, because I every time I hear myself asking a question, how do I do this or how do I do that, I really am so conscious of the fact that it's my mind wants to ask questions to get enlightened or whatever.
Yeah.
And the mind, yeah, my mind can never be enlightened. So that's a bit of a loop in which I get stuck sometimes, but
Yeah.
I'll try anyway.
Yeah.
So don't mind me speaking about I, for the sake of the question. Yeah, I've been feeling the urge or thinking a lot about trying to wanting to stop seeking, getting somewhere, trying to achieve something, to find something. And I know it will happen either way, no matter what I think about it or what I think I decide about it. But still, when I think about it, I really have this fear that I will fall back into some kind of not knowing anything, or just ignorance again, or getting back to my old life and somehow forgetting all about this. Yeah, finding who I truly am, I guess. And it really is in the way. I see that it will happen anyway or not. But still, this is something that really keeps me busy. That this fear, and yeah. Well, maybe you have something to share, or your experience, or
Yeah. The true, or not the true answer, there is no true answer, but the most truthful answer is, or the most closest answer is, that the mind is always going to have issues. That the mind is always going to be looking for a better place for you to be. No matter what, it's like the nature of the mind. It's always looking for the better place. And so at the moment, you've got in your mind this idea of enlightenment. And so your mind is busily trying to get the best place for that. And there is no way that mind can get to what's been spoken about. There's no way that person can't arrive at stillness, because you already are stillness. So the mind just latches onto the idea of enlightenment and does this story. This story that you're telling yourself will be a circular story of patterns in which your mind is used to speaking about. So if you look at it like we're like machines, and so what our mind does is it just swaps stories. So the story about worrying, about going back to going back to the way it was before, that your mind will have been worrying about this your whole lifetime, but just in different variations. So your mind just is a habit. It's like a machine producing thoughts. And then there's identification with them, and then they feel really real and super important, because what it feels like on the human level is everything that you think and feel and want and need feels very important to you, because you're uncomfortable, you're not quite at home. So you feel like you've lost something, and you're kind of scurrying away trying to get that equilibrium, I can't say the word, the balance back. So you're trying to find the balance in that mind. So your mind is like a habit that's just continuously swapping stories, but you're going over the same story again and again and again. So it's the same like neural pathways, I suppose, in your brain that's just playing the same stories. So on the human level, if you want to try to calm yourself down on the human level, which is advisable, is to me what I would do is you explore like you're doing now. You're listening to different talks, you're exploring the nature of yourself, you're sitting in silence, you're going in deep to see what's happening. But the key of what I would do is trying to get deeper than the thought. So your thought is telling you. So just tell me again exactly what your thoughts are telling you, that you're going to go back to your old way of life.
Yes. So I feel urge to relax the searching, but I'm afraid that will mean not that I will be literally more relaxed and more surrendering to whatever is going to happen, but instead losing it all and going back to just finding joy and pleasure in worldly things.
So this feels like it's got juice to it. It feels very real to you, right?
Yeah.
So that feels like that's what could potentially happen to you. So my advice on that level, if you want to go into the human level, even though I'm saying this, at the same time I'm also saying you can't do anything, like the person just does. But I'm giving advice, but at the same time like saying that doing happens, it's actually not under your control. So if this happens or not, it's down to life. But you go and you find the habit of that story. That story is not an isolated incident. It feels like that to you, but it's just regurgitated stuff. So you go back to your past and you think about your past. So is this something I told myself with my work? Did I have similar stories? So let me think of a similar story to give you an example. So you could relate it to eating. Like if you don't highly control your eating, then you'll end up putting on weight. You could relate it back to relationships. If you don't behave in this way, then your partner will not love you. If you could relate it to many stories that you would tell yourself. Like if you don't do this amount of work at university, then you'll fail your course. Like if you don't take control in this way, then bad things will come. And then you go back and you look through your life at the cycle of this story. What your mind will tell you is no, it's not a cycle. This is a legitimate story that I'm telling myself now. It's a legitimate problem that I have now. But actually your problems are just rehashed again and again and again. So you go back and you look through your life, and then you find what the source of that story is. So what is the feeling that's at the source of it? So what feeling is it that I'm afraid of here? And just for example, I'm not saying it's you, I just give it as an example. The example could be, the feeling could be, life is a bad place. If I'm not in control, bad things are going to happen to me. So then you bring that feeling into focus. So you watch if that feeling is coming up in your day-to-day life. And then when you have the feeling, rather than going off in the story and telling yourself a story and listening to your mind repeat that story again and again, you try to hold on to the feeling and let the feeling out. So if it's happening with your kids, say, if you don't do a certain thing, then your kids will be out of control, or whatever the story it is, you notice that it's happening. You don't necessarily need to stop the action. So say if you're over controlling the situation, you just need to feel the feeling. Life is bad, and if I don't control life, bad things are going to happen to me. And you just notice that deep feeling is happening, and notice that you're going off into a story and believe in the story. And then through time, that feeling will lose its grip. It will not hold on so tightly. It will lose its grip. You'll begin to see it, and then you can begin to look at different options of ways to respond. And then you can maybe also introduce the idea that life isn't against you. This is all example. I'm not talking about you, Marlene. Like, this is an example that like I'm just giving. So you begin to realize that life isn't against you. Like, life is my friend. So you begin to introduce this idea. So then, and eventually what can happen is that urge comes up, and then there can be another thought that comes in, like, life is my friend. Like, life isn't against me. It's not talking about being stupid and like letting your whole life go down the dustpan, you know, like giving all your money away or something. It's just noticing these things. Noticing. It's not talking about what you should or shouldn't do in life. It's noticing these thoughts coming up, and then being honest with yourself, like being radically, truly honest with yourself. So there is that, the momentum to that story, but in this moment, actually what I'm feeling is that life is against me. This is not true. Life isn't against me. I am life. I am love. Then once you've got to that story and you've played with it and you've seen it and you're seeing it in your day-to-day life, and it's not controlling you, it's not controlling the experience, then it can move quicker, and you can see that that is not who you are. You aren't that thought. You aren't that feeling. You aren't that story. You are this empty watcher. Does that make sense? It's hard to explain. And when I do explain, the difficulty of it is that you can never quite get words right and experiences right. But yeah.
No, but it's really very, very clear, and even the example gets very close to, I think, what is for me is underneath it. Really, have the feeling to have to a deep feeling. It's not what I want to believe, but what I do believe. That I have to be alert and really have the reins in my own hands to arrange a good life, and it's a deep belief, and I feel it's getting loosened more and more, because I see how ridiculous it is, and actually the whole idea of that there's no personal doer was a real relief for me. On one hand, and on the other hand, I also feel that I still don't trust that for 100%, and so I don't dare to rely on it fully. You know?
And you don't have to jump off the jump off the edge of the cliff straight away. So it's like you don't have to give up the reins straight away. It's like a gentle thing, because if you give up the reins too early, then like you say, your subconscious might take over and take you into nihilism or something. It might, or materialism. So it's like what you want to begin to feel is this other energy in you that feels more expansive, and letting that act more. So it's like this energy that feels more loving and more expansive. But this is something that will begin to happen through time. So it's like like acting from a more deeper place, rather than this more surface place of life is going to hurt me and I've got to protect myself in all these ways. But it's also, there is like a wisdom in the body that comes, that the body it's wise for the body to use the intellect to navigate its surroundings. So it's not like throwing out everything. It's also, there is wisdom, like the body needs to navigate its surroundings to a certain extent, but it's talking about these beliefs that are underneath that.
Yeah.
And seeing that, yeah. it's hard to like explaining things is always difficult because you can never quite get it right. But
No, but I can feel where you're pointing at. So
yeah,
when I feel it's also the direction in which I want or am going.
yeah,
But in the way are still some blocks I can see.
yeah,
And maybe you could, on a human level, um, give me some just a few practical ways. Maybe it's a silly question, but how to relax more into this. I know
yeah.
it's just keeping myself busy because it will happen anyway, but for my idea in where I'm at right now, what
Like,
how is that?
do you mean relaxing more into like nothing and everything? Like, what relaxing
Yes,
more into this moment?
yeah, more
Yeah,
to really how do you say it? Because I believe in the non-doership, but
yeah,
it's hard. You can't practice it. I know it. It's a question. It's a human question. But
yeah.
how can I practice more relaxing into this? So I don't mean really lying on my bed with those kind of relaxing, but really mental or I don't know.
Mm. The confusion is always language because, like you say, like you couldn't relax into this moment because you already are this moment. So it's actually like it's a shift in perspective from being the limitation to the not limited. So that limitation can never relax into the limitless. However, that person can seemingly do things to become more relaxed. And as it becomes more relaxed, like as the person is suffering less, not all the time, but like a lot of the time, as the person's suffering less, then that shift tends to happen. Not all the time though, like I can see so many contradictions in that. But when the person's deeply seeking, there can be a pop that suddenly happens from deeply seeking, but it's normally very clouded. It's normally like very dense and very very focused on itself. And as the person comes more happy, then it's like the seeking relaxes, and then that other thing shines through more, or that perspective changes. So to relax the seeking, I would recommend doing what you're doing. You're exploring this subject, you're exploring your personality, you're exploring your dynamics, and then also becoming very conscious of what the body is feeling in the moment. So what's happening in your body and seeing the lies. So it's like if your mind is off on a story about how much you dislike your partner for 2 hours, like at some point there becomes an interruption in that, and then going back to actually what you're feeling. And what you're feeling in that moment, so you might have spent 2 hours like hating on them in your mind, is going back to what I actually feel in this moment is I feel very afraid. And then finding where you feel that in the body, like where do I feel that fear? And then giving that fear space, but also recognizing that it's appearing in a freedom, that fear is limited in a way, but who you are isn't limited.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yeah. Well, thank you. It's difficult. I can imagine it's difficult for you to talk about anything regarding this because, like you always say, there's nothing you really can do. So
Yeah,
it's awkward to talk about it.
yeah,
But I really have had the
yeah,
feeling that this needed to be expressed, and I
yeah,
needed to
totally. Yeah,
confront
yeah,
myself talking
nice.
about
Yeah,
it. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's all energy and it's all magic the way it's happening. So we don't really
Yes,
know. But
yeah,
yeah,
but
it's just
sorry.
coming back to that again and again. Like, who is this I that wants to get somewhere? Who is this person that wants to arrive?
Yeah, yeah, and each week I think I have a question, and I think no, that's a question I know the answer. Somewhere I know the answer
Yeah,
because it all seems to come down to the same thing again and again. But now I felt, well, like you say, maybe it's just energy and it wants to work its way out, and it's all part of the journey, maybe.
Yeah, to dance. Yeah.
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 Well, thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah.
This
Thanks,
is
Marlene.
really, really
Yeah.
clear. Thank you.
Nice. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
So if you want to me to call you, just call me next to your name and then don't put anything else. So Sarah would like, yes, so Sarah or Sarah, I'm not sure which one that is. We're just a little bit behind, so I always just give the person a moment just to like prepare themselves.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Sarah. Is it Sarah or Sarah?
It's Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
I'm a bit out of breath.
Oh, yeah?
A bit anxious.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this is too much for you. If it's too much for you, you don't have to push through it.
Okay, but I think I can do this. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes we get this attitude where we're too hard with ourselves, you know. There's just a little bit of echo on your line. Do you have some earphones?
Oh, I can go to the other room. So, I think it should be better.
Yeah, it's better now, yeah. Oh, no, it's not. No,
No?
I think you need to put your earphones in, yeah.
So, last few days, I've been meditating a lot. And I experienced the swaying, rocking movements, involuntary movements while meditating. Especially in my head. And I don't know, it feels like an energy surfing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yet the energies is part of this. But the problem that we have, Sarah, is every time I speak, it echoes.
Oh, I see.
Do you have a headset that you could put in?
I have to give me a minute.
Okay.
Thanks. I think I can't do this with these earrings.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Hello? I think there's the echoing
Yep.
stop though. It's
Oh,
there,
okay.
it's sort of there. Maybe when I'm speaking, if you could just turn off your microphone, that might work.
Oh, okay.
Like, so turn off your microphone and then it won't, but it seems to be stopping echoing now. So yeah, from my experience, like, I'm not a Kundalini teacher, so I don't really know about all this energy movements, and some people have lots of like really elaborate explanations of it, and you could look up Kundalini. That's the only one that I know directly talks about it, but I know in Buddhism they talk about it. And for me, when I was having my energetic awakening, and that's all I can really talk about because I don't really know too much of the other what other people say about it, and I think it's different for everyone, is there were lots of weird energetic experiences. So feeling like my head was on backwards, shaking, like uncontrollable laughter and crying that didn't feel like mine, like vertigo, like really strong vertigo, all these different experiences. But when I say that, I'm not saying that that's the same for you, because I don't know. I can't look inside of you. You know, if you feel like you need to go to the doctors, then go to the doctors. Like, don't take that as any medical prescription. Like, I don't know why it's happening for you. But for me, that happened, and the way that I dealt with it was that I just made it no big deal. And that's the way my teachers taught me, was that it's no big deal, and it just happened, and I didn't conceptualize it much. So these weird energetic experiences happened, and there wasn't so much of a conceptualization. But I wouldn't use that as an excuse if you fear that it might be something wrong with you physically, as not going to doctor. I would always recommend going to doctor. This is not me saying don't go to the doctor. Like, it's just my experience, and I notice for everyone else it's really different. So you have to unmute yourself if you want to say something back to that, Sarah.
Yeah, I see. I just, you said that in order to release stress, I had a blockage on my throat, I guess, for several years, for many years, actually. And this couple of days I've been doing throat meditation chakra, and I feel like it helped a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, if you just turn your mic off, I just say something to that. Yeah, so yeah, the body is amazing. It's all about energy in the body. So when you pay more attention to your body, if you have particular thoughts, so if you start thinking about disliking someone, your body energetically is contracting in particular ways. So if you dislike someone, you might say contract in your throat. So if you're having dinner and then suddenly there's dislike, and that will be it will be about expression, that you haven't expressed yourself, or they're over expressing themselves. If you feel it in your solar plexus, then it's about maybe feeling out of control, or feeling put down by the person, or feeling meaningless in comparison to the person, feeling frustration, anger. So your body is like these traffic lights that are constantly going off, telling you and informing you what you're actually feeling about a situation. Your mind lies though. So your mind will say, I hate that person's not a very nice person. But underneath what it might be is, say, vulnerability, which might be in the heart, or feeling out of control, which is in the solar plexus, or fear, which would be in your sacral chakra. And so getting to know your body, like meditating on these areas, firstly helps relax that area and shift the energy in that area, but also helps you understand what's happening to you in life, like what your body's actually saying. And the more you do this, the more then that you'll find your natural flow and your natural voice. So doing these meditations are amazing. And like so often when we go to therapy or when we go to ask for help, we're just working with the mind, whereas the body, it's like a holistic thing. Like the body is saying so much all the time in every moment, but we're often so overwhelmed by thoughts and what we're thinking that we pay no attention to what the body's actually saying. So doing all these types of things, bit by bit, you're going deeper and deeper into your unconscious, into your energy field, into your chakras. And it's like a seemingly like a progression through time. You learn more and more about yourself. These amazing things called humans, these bodies, this experience. It's amazing, but we ignore it by just thinking. We think that our thoughts are the king, like the superpower, whereas they're so limited. But you can unmute yourself, and if you've got anything to say back to that.
Yeah, I think it's true, and I know I've been feeling a lot, such an ease after doing these meditations, focusing on throat, and I definitely feel that my throat is like open. Before, for 6-7 years, I guess, I felt like something is stuck on my throat and it's hurting all the time. But now, I mean, in several days it's gone, and it's amazing.
What you might notice is that it comes back when you interact with people. So if you've been by yourself the last couple of days, because the throat is very much about communication, so it might trigger you. So it's just becoming really conscious of what is the trigger, what triggers that throat into contracting. And it's often about being able to speak, communicate what you want, knowing what you want, being able to express it, feeling heard, feeling that the other person is hearing you, listening to you. So it's just noticing that.
Yeah, that's actually true, and I feel like I always try to please other people. It's like really important to me what they think about me, and I mean, all my life, I guess I'm just programmed this way, and it's actually interesting to undo this programming.
Yeah. The programming is so deep, so it starts like your main set of programming is between the age of 1 and 3, and then 3 to 6, and this is your main part of your programming. So it's so deep. And I think it's a really important work to do, and it's really amazing exploration, but don't get the idea that the end of programming will equal my happiness. Your freedom, what you're truly looking for, is that which is watching you unprogram yourself.
But these several days, I had a thought that if I will be doing these meditations and opening up my chakras, that is enough. Not enlightenment, but this.
Yeah.
It's so much. I feel myself so much lighter, and it feels like truly happiness.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. And you see that as the person becomes more balanced, then something else is more likely to be revealed, because there's less seeking. When you're suffering loads, there's loads of seeking. As you become more balanced, then the seeking begins to disappear. And as the seeking begins to disappear, then there's something else there that's like really obvious. But that's really beautiful.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
really
Sarah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, lots of love. Bye. So hi, Hazan. Hi, Oedipus. Hi, Lucas. Hi, Graham. Hi, Osborne. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Nick. Hi, the Hammer Hoarded. I would like to add you on Skype. The Hammer Hoarded. Hi, G Kamo. Hi, Mattia. Okay. Hello. Hey. Hello. You can. I just take someone else's question, Laird, and you can just practice in Skype. Like so. This is just a Laird. So I'll call you back, Laird. After you've practiced it in Skype, you can go up to the Skype settings, then down to preferences, and then you can practice. So you have like a option to practice. Okay. So hey, Isabel, the Hammer Hoarded. Hi, Lisa. Is this Lisa who teaches non-duality? I'd like to join your Sunday talk. Yes, it is. I have a question. In practicing non-dual practices, have you noticed that you feel your body sensations less and less, or perhaps a change in how you feel them, such as not salivating while sugar was in my mouth? This was my experience doing self-inquiry in Ramana's tradition. And I have heard it is important to deal with psychosomatic trauma when arousing Kundalini, but all the somatic methods like somatic experiencing and sensomotor psychotherapy all focus on feeling the body more. So aren't we undoing our trauma healing if our non-dual practice makes us feel the body less? How can we heal our trauma then? Thanks, Lisa. Sorry, I know it's a long question, but it's kind of goes together. Yeah, I don't know if I know all the answers to this. That's well complex. I don't know. I know. So my experience is that I kind of feel the body more and less. So in one way, everything is further away. So there's like a detachment from it, but not in a cold way. And then another way, I feel the body more. So it's like everything is more intense sensually. So the emotions, the experiences, I think. but I don't know how you put all these things together and what the right thing is to do. The only thing that I can point to you to is like, is this a pattern of yours? Like comparing lots of different things, like lots of different traditions to try and find out the best one that works for you? Like, is that an avoidance technique? But I don't know. Oops. I'm fiddling with this, it might fiddle with the sound. But thank you for your question. I'm sorry that I couldn't have a more like concise answer for you. I think I'm all set now whenever you're ready. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Laird.
Hi, thank you.
Hey.
Okay, much love and respect. Oh, it's ringing again. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey.
Laird here.
Hey, Laird.
Hello, thank you very much.
That's a
I don't know
pleasure.
why there's feedback. I thought I got it fixed.
Yeah, the feedback is most probably coming because you've still got the volume on YouTube.
Okay, let me turn that off. You're right. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm going to turn that off right now. Oh, okay, so now we're good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Much love and respect from Chicago. Thank you so
Thanks.
much, Lisa.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, I've listened to you over the years, and I can't think of any more important subject personally for me than what you're talking about today, especially with the caller, two callers ago. All of them, all your callers are just wonderful, but especially the one before the most recent. Uh, I can't add to anything that you're saying. I just feel mentally driving myself crazy for the same reason the caller two callers ago was, and I don't have anything to add to your conversation except I want to just touch on, I'm at the point where when I go over and over in my mind this issue in my mind over and over again, it's almost like I'm perseverating. I think that's a psychological term. It's like chewing your nails. You just can't stop. You don't even know you're doing it.
Yeah.
That that I just realize everything that you've been saying and just let it go. That that there is another explanation and approach to this, and that's everything that you folks were talking about. So my question is, you know, to the degree that we practice that, and I'm at a point now where I'm so frustrated with my circular thinking that I almost have no choice just to let it go and just have faith, And so my question is, I don't know any other word to use but payoff. What's the payoff? I think you mentioned it a little bit, but you won't pay so much attention to these things, and maybe what you feel you're lacking, and that you're just constantly going over in your mind this, and it creates a sense of lack that will be replaced by your recognition that you're not in lack.
I'm sorry, I got confused as to what the question was. Like, can you just
Yeah, me
repeat that?
too.
Yeah.
I'm just blabbing away here.
I don't think you are. I think that I just missed something.
What's the payoff to practicing and letting go of this, when in your mind you think, that there's a solution to your dilemma, and it requires more thinking, more doing, and what's the payoff to practicing letting that go, having faith in the unfolding of your
Yeah.
future?
It depends. It depends because everybody is set up differently. So, like what I was suggesting to the caller, I think 2 calls ago, was I was talking about becoming more conscious of what's underneath the thought and go into the feeling and recognize what is that deep feeling. But that's not always the case for everybody. There can be obsessive thinking, which is actually an area in the brain which is just like obsessively thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really connected to feelings as so much in the body as it's just like obsessive thoughts that get turned on. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about or not. Like, it's something we would have to explore in more detail. The other one is like is patterns of stories that keep coming up, and then they've got emotions underneath them. And the payoff of doing that is that you relax I believe that you relax the person more through doing that. But not everybody, like I said, like it depends a little. Like there can be obsessive thinking that's not related to emotions. It's just like OCD thinking, which is a different matter altogether. But there can be this thinking which is related to emotion. Like you get an emotion that comes up, and then you have a pattern or a story which is a typical story of yours, which goes back to the emotion. And then by going back to the emotion, you relax the thinking and you experience the emotion. You really experience the emotion. Like that's what most people don't want to do and spend their life trying to avoid, is experiencing their emotion, because the emotion is uncontrollable and the emotion is painful. So it's just allowing that emotion to be experienced in the body, like feeling that emotion, and then also seeing that it's not true, the story you're telling yourself. When you're just in the thoughts, deep down you believe and you're confirming that that story is true. So say if you feel unlovable and you're thinking, I hate that person because they're an asshole, but really you feel unlovable. Like when you're just trying to let go of that thought, or just battling on the thought level, you deep down are still believing that that energy underneath, that you're unlovable, is true. But as you begin to see that feeling that's in your body, and you really experience it, you also see that that's not true. So in this moment, like, so you're arguing with someone, in this moment I feel profoundly unlovable. So it's noticing that, and then through noticing it, you'll notice it more when it appears in your life. So it'll also change your external life. And noticing that that's not true, that's not the truth, and that you are the opposite. You are absolutely lovable. So it's noticing this. This is going to settle down. This is what I believe will settle down the person. It will make their external and internal life more healthy, I feel. They'll be able to navigate their life better, and they'll be able to understand what they're up to, like in every moment. And it's also like becoming profoundly conscious of the body and what the body is doing. And then as the person relaxes more, my theory is, but also it's proved wrong lots of times by examples like Byron Katie and Eckhart Tolle, is that as the person settles down, there is less seeking. And when there is less seeking, then there's more possibility of that energetic shift. It's a little bit like when you fall in love with someone. Like the reason that it's so beautiful is because when you fall in love, you feel like you've arrived, and so your seeking dissipates. And many times people have awakening when they fall in love, or when they take LSD, which gives them an experience of falling in love. So to me, what's happening is you're reducing seeking in really knowing what your body is saying and what your body wants. Which you could also say is like the unconscious in a way as well, but it's like in the body. So the payoff is reducing seeking and leaving yourself more open to non-duality. So if someone's really seeking, then it's impossible for them to hear what is beyond non-duality because they're so contracted in their story. So that's my theory.
Yeah. Well,
but I also know that it can be contradicted because I know there's many stories where somebody suffers so immensely and so deeply and then they have a shift. So I know that there is contradictions to that, but it's just, what comes here to be expressed. It's not the truth, like everything, but it comes here to be expressed. But that's different from talking about OCD thinking. OCD thinking, like if you keep focusing on OCD thinking, then that's, I don't think, the best way. I think that you need to go to someone that's an expert in that.
Yeah, I don't think I was referring to myself as that, but I am referring to myself as the seeking, seeking something. And it just resonates so deeply when I'm hearing you talk about that I just want to let go of it and just have faith.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
But it's like in every moment being really conscious. Like, are you really conscious of what your body wants now? You might be conscious of what your mind wants, but are you really conscious of what your body is saying to you? Like, so with me and my teacher, we went through this stage of like in every given moment, doing exactly what you feel like doing. And what that means is like really knowing what your body is asking for and not asking for, like really knowing what it's saying to you. Like paying deep attention to the body.
I'm going to go back and listen to your last week on surrender. I think that probably that would be a supplement to what you're talking about now.
But you didn't answer my question. You didn't want to answer my question?
Please ask it again, please.
Yes.
I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm trying to understand what you mean by that. What my body, as it relates to my searching or how I feel as I'm mulling over this. Yeah.
So I would say that there's two conversations going on here. There is the conversation which is mind-led, and then there's the conversation which is body-led. So your body is saying something now, but can you hear it? Like, have you put your attention into your body to hear what your body's saying? A lot of the time people don't want to go there because the body is uncomfortable, or because they've completely cut it off and they can't physiologically feel it.
So how do you do that? I mean, I do very intense meditation. I love meditation. I've been doing it for decades.
Yeah.
And my body just feels a lot all day long. I have a lot of energy running through it. How am I doing that? I do feel kind of depressed sometimes, or sad, or like a loss. I don't know if that's mental or my body. And I'm one of the most positive people in the world, the most spiritual person in the world. I worked my ass off for it, and yet I just can't imagine why I would feel lack, or a lot of fears and things like that, and lacking. And I just want to, instead of trying to solve it, I've got to the point where I realize it's all everything that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, it's the true freedom is beyond the body, so it's that which is watching. So that's the true freedom. And maybe you do feel, and it's just like a different language. So maybe you really do feel. It's just like, so say for example now, like in relating to me, there might be like anxiety or fear of not being good enough or something. This is not talking about you. I'm just giving an example so you could like be creative with it. But on the surface, you might not recognize that. So on the surface, you might be totally involved in what I'm saying and listening really intently. But underneath, in say your heart or your solar plexus, you might feel like that you're not good enough. But that's a feeling that arises inside your body. And it's like a story that's arising inside your body. And then it will activate and push your thoughts and your way of being in a certain way. So that's just but that you might have already done that from 20 years of meditation. You might be really in contact with your body and your sensations, and so you might already know what your body is saying, and it's just that you're maybe like over looking at now, like feeling insecure, like now when I'm saying it, you're like, I don't know if I have done that.
Well, you're right. Right now, I'm just intently focused on what you're saying, but I do often ask myself what's at the very deep level of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
I
talking
do.
about. Yeah.
So I do practice that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the true freedom beyond that is that which is experiencing all that. So that which knows the person that's doing that, that which knows the feeling in the heart. And that is beyond that. That is this silence,
that's a deep
which
one.
is
That's
looking,
a deep one. I'll think about. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, thank you, Layard, for calling. Yeah.
Love you, Lisa.
Yeah,
Thank
love
you very
you.
much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Layard.
Bye.
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 I could hear I didn't say it, Layard, but I could hear your cat in the background. Meow, meow. It's sweet. Dear Lisa, I'm so grateful for the enlightening guidance that shines through you. Sorry, but your gong sounds like a digital error. Sincerely, Galuko. Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe it is. I couldn't hear it when it was going. Nick. Hey, Nick. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Hi, Thomas. Happy Easter. Hi, Osborne. I really enjoyed listening to your talk. Oh, nice. So Osborne runs another channel. I forget to advertise it often, but I mean to. He runs another channel and he edits all of my talks. It's called Lisa Cairns video clips on YouTube and on Facebook, I think. And yeah, and you can find edited talks. So like with this talk at the beginning, I flap around, and then like with one of the callers, there was problems with the headset, and he edits all of that out. So and puts them, gives them titles, so you can check that out. You can find it attached to this channel somewhere, I think at the bottom. Hi Graham, hi Lisa. I've noticed control is at the heart of a lot of unnecessary suffering. Being the witness has helped me let go and not take the thoughts so seriously. Do you recommend any other practice I can use? That all sounds perfect. Like there's other things I've talked about today, but that sounds perfect. Like know what you're doing is perfect. Like everybody, like you're listening to the talks, you're exploring, and bit by bit it changes and something deeper happens. And though in the end it's all in God's hands, like it's not your control. Like we can get obsessed with this idea of practice, like I've got to practice to arrive somewhere, I've got to do all these things to get there, and I've got to get it really right. And then there's that watching that's here right now, that's never left. This is it, baby. I haven't done that for a long time. Lucas. Thank you, Lisa. It's relieving to know that life is just happening, that the body is just happening. Self-referential thoughts are happening. Beautiful. Nice, Lucas. Hi, Lisa. Today you are tough. Does that say tough, that word? Oh, am I? I can't perceive that. I am beginning to feel a little bit of jaw ache after Easter and all day talking. I am getting jaw ache. I might have to stop soon. It's becoming close to 8. Hi, Hassan. Hi, Isabel. joy. Foodatrix. Hi, One Sang. Thank you for the live talk. One Shang. Nice. Hi, Lisa. Hi, nice talk. Thank you. The hammer Huden. I can't. It doesn't all. Hudat. The hammer Hudat. Thank you. I just saw the answer you gave. Yes, I guess it's a hard one. Lelo. It might be an avoidance partially for me. I guess a better question is, I do the non-dual practices and then feel the kundalini in my body grip me at my sacral chakra and the solar plexus, and it's uncomfortable and filled with lots of anxiety. What to do? Just sit with it? I don't know. We'd have to explore it in a lot more detail. I mean, fear and anxiety tend to be the root and the sacral chakra. So just exploring that more deeply, the energies of it, the discomfort of it, like what it's anxious about, like what stories is it saying. That would be my advice. But in the end, I don't really know. That's too big a question. We'd have to really go into detail with it. Thank you. Hi, Amy. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for your answer to my question last week. The tangent about my name meaning beloved was just what I needed to hear. I just didn't know it. Oh, nice, Amy. Beloved. Hi, Paul. Okay, never mind. I get it now. Sorry. Further comments clarified it. Hi, Marlene. Thanks for your talk and answers. It was delightful. Much love. Oh, thanks, Marlene. I got through everybody. Cool. That's maybe enough for me now. Easter was a lot of talking. Yeah, I wish you well. I wish you everything. There is a reference page on my website where you can look and you can find other material of different things that you can look at. Yeah, nice. I wish you all everything, and just be conscious that everything that I say in time is always changing, and it's not exactly truth. It's not this is the way it is, like this is right. So if I give advice or if I give practices or anything like that, that's not really the way it is. Even the way I express it, like you can't really express it. So just notice that look at it at the bigger picture. Like I am not speaking like the right words that will lead you to enlightenment. All of that's in your mind. All of that's fantasy. And everything that I give on the practice level or not practice level, again, is all in words. And you can never really quite touch on something. So to me, like the wisdom comes with like staying open. The most important part is listening to non-duality, resonating with it, and then staying open and going deeper into your experience. Like what's happening right now, right now, right now. Nice, thank you. I wish you everything, and I shall see you next